So I know you did those. I know you do like long distance paddleboarding.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Where was the one? What was the longest one that you did?
Molokai in Hawaii.
That's where it was. It was in
Yeah.
Hawaii. Yeah, yeah.
Tell us about that. We'd like to hear that.
Please. Yeah.
All right.
Dive into that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. You want me to go right to Hawaii, or just kind of like how it got me there?
What's the name of the race? I
Kinda
want to
how
like look up some
Molokai.
visuals. Molokai?
Yeah, Molokai.
Do kind of like it
Two,
leading
like
up to the race too.
All right. Well, real quick backstory. Like I surfed my whole life basically, and that's how it got me into lifeguarding and whatnot. And then one of my crew chiefs, Ed, he was kind of like, "Yo, you should start paddling. You surf and all that kind of stuff." So I started getting on the board and started getting on like the old bark. It was actually a 10.6. Bark usually makes 12 foots. And then I just started using them, and then just kind of getting used to paddling.
Mm-hmm.
Then I decided, I think it was like 2012, 2013, one of our buddies from Belmar, Ryan Matthews, he did the New York City paddle. So he did the 25 miles around Manhattan Beach, or not Manhattan Beach, but around Manhattan.
Yeah.
So that kind of got me and my buddies to be like, oh,
Okay,
he can do that? We can
cool,
do that.
yeah.
Yeah, like we can do
Yeah.
this. So that's where it kind of started. Now, I wanted to always do this Molokai to Oahu paddle. It's the championship paddle. It's 32 miles, if you have the best line. And you have to apply. Like you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to do that today.
And then decide, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to just, do it. And there's a lot of logistics. But I applied. And in April, I had gotten in, and I was freaking out. My buddy, Dan Grotus, he did it the year before. So that was like a cool step. Like, he's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
I was in his wedding and all that. That's what we were talking about, like lifeguards for life, right? Like best friends for life. So he did it in 2017, and I was like, I got to do it. It's like, here we go. It's my turn now. So 2018 came, and I applied, and I got in, and I was ecstatic. And then I realized this is huge. I have to train, like hard train. I mean, I've trained, up all those years prior, but now I've got to really train.
Yeah.
That's like a level up. That's a little different.
It's a whole different animal. It's a whole different beast. And, so I did a lot of different paddles. I did the AC paddle, which is like 22 and a half miles. I did the Cape to Cape, which is Chad Desadnik's. He's 17 miles from Delaware to Cape May. That was awesome. That's a hard paddle. A couple of different ones. But then, late July comes, and here I am on a plane flying over to Hawaii. I don't even have a board. I got connected with a guy out there in Hawaii to lend me a board. And my buddy Alex, one of my best friends, he got in on a team, which was kind of cool. I'm doing it solo, so I'm 32 miles all by myself.
Oh, so you could do it as a team or just...
Yeah, like a 2-man or
Free-ball.
3-man. Yeah, so Chad, right, Desadnik, he reached out to me. He's like, hey, do you have any buddies that paddle? And he's like, we need a guy for a team. And originally it was going to be a 3-man. It's now a 2-man. So now it's just Alex and this other guy named Smiley from California. So pretty funny guy, pretty crazy. But it was just those two. And then it was also me just by myself. So when you have to do a race like this, you have to have your own boat. And you have to pay, you have to get the boat captain and you give them all their stuff and the monies and then the food and all the waters and whatever you need.
Oh, so they follow you.
They follow you the whole time.
A spotter, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's like your spot boat or your supervised boat. And they have to go through all the loops to make sure that they're legal to do all that. So I got this guy from Dan, Captain Jim, and Captain Steve, total nut jobs, amazing dudes. I love them. I miss them. And they watch you the whole time. They have to be with you. So you take a little plane over to Molokai, and that's a one-way trip. That's it. You're on that island. The board arrives with them on the boat, and you're looking out. And I remember the morning of, right? So the morning of the race, I'm looking out, and you don't see the other island. You don't see Oahu at all. You just sit there, and you're looking into a horizon, an empty horizon of nothing. And you're like,
God.
Yeah, can I do this?
Yeah,
Like,
you're starting to second guess a little bit.
oh, the anxiety. Everyone's got anxiety,
Yeah.
right? And you go into like a really big prayer, and everyone's all excited, and you get pumped up. But then you kind of just like, when that's all done, you're just sitting there, you're like, can I really do this? This is crazy. This is one way. It's just, you're going. And so I'm looking out to the nothing, and I'm with my buddy, Alex, and our other buddy from actually Ship Bottom, Johnny Skolnick.
The other SHBP?
Yo, yeah.
Oh, no, that's Ship Harbor. Sorry. Stone Harbor.
Stone Harbor.
My bad.
Ship Bottom. Excellent guys down there, by the way. The Torpedo Boys, shout out. They're awesome. All crazy guys as well. So me, Johnny, and Alex were all hanging out. Now, the cool thing about this race was that was the year John Florence did the paddle. So it was like he had hurt his knee towards like ACL or something like that. And so he was going to paddle that year. And we all see him, and we're like, "Oh, that's cool. John's going to do it. I'm sure he's going to do okay. Like, he's not a paddler. He's a surfer." That guy smoked it. He was incredible. So we're all sitting there in the circle, and there's Australians. I mean, this is the World Championship, right? I feel like I mean, I'm there. It's pretty cool.
But you're like,
but I'm like, wow, these guys are.
Oh, like these guys are like superheroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like some of those guys are like your NFL, your baseball, MLB,
your favorites. Yeah.
Yeah. These are the top in their country, and in their country they're born and bred to do this. So the gun hits, and you're like, all right, I got a paddle, and you're just going. So it was super fun. It was super scary because at one point. Like, you take your supplements like to eat, right? Like your goos, like to make sure you have like the electrolytes and the salt and all that kind of stuff. And the first one I take, that doesn't sit well in my throat, and it's burning my throat. I almost couldn't like breathe.
Really?
I was like in a really bad place. Pretty quickly into the race.
Drink some salt water.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I got water, and I was like, I got my boat, but I'm like, I can't breathe, and this hurts. And okay, this is how it goes, though. This is just like
I guess it's part of it. I guess it comes with it.
Doesn't matter how many miles I've logged in and how many I've done it all, dialed in my nutrition, and that is like still something like that comes up, and you're like, oh, this hurts. Oh, yeah. But now you're in it, and there's no turning back, you know, and there's no getting on the boat. That wrestling mentality of just like pushing through those barriers, those pains. There's no quit.
The boat was the easy way out, and
there's never
you
gonna
can't
be
take that.
Never,
no,
never. I know I've said it since it, but I was like, I would be prepared to like not come back, And I got into some dark places in that, it's 32 miles of open ocean, and the waves out there, the swell is like nothing here. Mm-hmm. It is wild how big it gets, how powerful. It's just the open ocean. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's some, like you said, with nor'easters that can kind of do it, but the swell's all going in the same direction. It is just powerful.
How big were the waves out in, like, the middle, if you were to say?
The swell, it's really just... Oh, there you go. That's a stand-up paddler, yeah.
So you were on, like, a normal paddleboard?
I was on a prone. So that's a stand-up.
That's not we don't do that.
That's tourists.
Yeah, get that out of here. That's
This is
there
Matt
you
Bevilacqua.
go.
I've seen this video a million times. This is Matt Bevilacqua. He's on an 18-foot board. He's one of the best from Australia. Actually, Tasmania, technically. He is an absolute monster. But so this is what you're feeling. You're just these crazy big swells in this channel, and you're trying to catch it. You're trying to read the waves, like the swell, the best you can. So now where he is getting towards the end. That's like not China walls, but it's like getting close to the edge. Like he's made it to Oahu at that point. But you see how like the swell starts picking up, and you're trying to race into it just so it gets you a little bit of energy, and then all that energy, and then you're like, all right, a little bit of push, and you're like, okay, I'm off the back now. I got to paddle again.
It's crazy. It's like you're kind of catching the wave, but it's like when you see a wave like jack up like way before you know where the sandbar is, and it looks like it's gonna break, but you're just like, this isn't gonna happen.
You absolutely think you're like, okay, paddle real hard, and I got it, and you're just like, oh, and you fall off the back, you're like, it didn't work. That was a lot of energy, and I've got 31 miles more to go.
Yeah, that must be such like a not like a bad feeling, but like a discouraging moment when you're like,
what's that thing? What's that thing on a board? Is that a camera? What is that?
That's water.
That's their water. Yeah, okay, that's water I can see. It's a jug, so it's a water cage. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's the size I use. That's 12
what size
foot.
boat? That's why I mean the board.
The board. That's Stuart McLaughlin. Yeah, 12 foot. So the 12 foot. The difference about that versus the bigger ones. Oh, this guy's a maniac. He's awesome. This is inside the bay now at this point. Stuart McLaughlin, that's a 12-foot board, and it doesn't have like a rudder. So the 18-foots, because they're so big, they actually have a bar underneath by your feet that you can actually move the fin, like the one part of the fin, so you can kind of make it directional. So as you paddle straight, you can push it to the right or to the left. But with the 12-foots,
no way.
it's only you moving the board. So you're going harder on your right hand, you're going harder on your left hand to move it. The cool thing about that guy is he just lays down the whole time. So he spends the entire thing just laying on his stomach. Whereas like I'll switch and transition from my stomach to my knees. Forth. Knees are a lot faster, a lot more energy.
You can get a lot more power.
A lot more
knees,
power.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But it kills your knees.
Mm-hmm. A little bit the hips, the knees, yes, but the hips, like nothing. The burning you never felt in your hips.
When you get on your belly, do you bend your knees and like kind of move your?
I move my feet. Yeah, kind of like
that's how I learned. Yeah, for distance. Well, how long did it take? How long does it take? Like, so is that how many hours generally or average?
Ideally, you're always shooting for that 6 hour, 45-minute mark. You know.
Okay.
I did not hit that. I hit some dark places in that channel. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll tell you what, man. No one else at this table has paddled that far.
Yeah, so. Not even remotely.
I'm gassed after like a mile to the pier and back. You know,
it's with some training you'll get there. You know, but it took me 8, and I thought that was pretty good for my first shot, and it was just a learning experience for me. Just like almost like you know what we always say, like when you get to States, you're all the bright lights and you're like, okay, I'm wrestling at the States, and then
it's more of like an experience.
It's an experience, and I wanted it to be that way.
You mentioned that wrestling mentality, and I know you're a coach, right? You coach the girls wrestling team at Jackson Memorial, which is awesome. By the way, are you the first coach of that program?
I wouldn't say the first. I'm like duo, like with Dewey, Gosman, Rash. Like we all started it together.
Okay,
and then. They kind of made one more or less head coach of the girls wrestling program. That's me.
So what I wanted to ask you was how, like, because you wrestled your whole life. So how did you apply that to lifeguarding, like for yourself, and how you train like your younger guys and girls?
Yeah.
And vice versa. Like, what do you take from what you learned on the beach and apply it with your wrestling team?
That's awesome. That's great. Because like, that was the mentality I had when I was first starting, 19 years old, and I'm going against swimmers. I'm trying out against swimmers, right? I mean, these kids are good. They're ocean. Yeah. I mean, not ocean, but they're fast.
Yeah. They know how to breathe correctly. They know how to. They know the technique.
They know the
They know that you're supposed to exhale your entire breath before you go for the next one.
Yes.
You're not supposed to breathe every stroke, but I'm breathing every stroke.
I do.
So in my head, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, well, I'm going against these kids. Like, I just know that as it gets harder and as it gets down the road, I'm not going to break. They're going to break before I'm going to break, and I'm going to watch them kind of break. And, they're all my friends, blah, blah, blah. But, like, that competitive mentality of being like, I want to be better than you. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to make it a long swim or whatever it is, a run.
I can do this for
even
longer.
If I
might be faster, but I can do this for longer.
I can do this for longer.
Even if I'm last, I'm going to finish before you break.